everyone. Welcome back to the first episode of LePod. We're
Uh-huh.
rebranding from the PFE podcast to the LePod. It's kind of we're still under PFE. Everything's going to PFE, but the LePod is just the podcast channel, and then we'll still have all our personals and stuff. This is a special episode because it's the first ever PFE LePod mock draft. We're going to do a mock draft going back and forth on the picks. So I'll have the odds and Connor will have the evens. And it's gonna be fun. I hope it'll be fun. We have both our teams, got some somewhat decent looking draft picks here. So we can get good picks going. Anything you want to say, Connor, before we get started? Get
Get the
going.
shit rolling.
So we are using just the regular mock draft database simulator. I don't pay for PFF, so come at me.
No, you can't do trades unless you pay for PFF Plus, which is
PFF is cool, but I'm not paying $120 for a year, like first thing, or it's $25 a month, which is crazy. I feel like it's freaking ridiculous.
just to see some stats.
Honestly, the first few picks might be easy, but
Yeah.
for me, 101, it's got to be Cam Ward for Miami. The Titans have done nothing to address the quarterback room. They've only done stuff to help the quarterback with bringing in the Dan Moore stupid deal, stupid awful deal from the Steelers, and then you got Joel, who they brought in, Kevin Zeitler as well, play guard. Clearly trying to fix the offensive line, whether it's an overpay or not. They didn't address quarterback, so you got to think they're going quarterback here. So I am just going to go. This is pretty chalk, but Cam Ward.
Well, I think they've practically done everything other than announce the pick for Cam Ward. So,
Yeah.
I feel like it's clear.
There's not much, like, you can argue maybe Shador if you like Shador better, but it seems like Cam Ward is the 101. And then I don't think there's any way Will Levis suits up for quarterback at all this season.
So no, I think last year was his year to really prove.
First kind of decision goes to Connor.
Number 2, the Cleveland Browns. I feel like this one's also kind of been pretty good. Travis Hunter. This is really a really good pick for the Browns, and as someone who is in the Browns division, not excited they're getting are probably the best prospect in the draft. Yeah. But the corners, Denzel Ward's getting up there in age, and they have Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson. Those guys are not under contract for a long time, so Travis Hunter can play some corner. He can also play some receiver because they don't have anybody over that receiver really, other than Jerry Jeudy, and he had a breakout year. But was that because who else was going to do it really?
Yeah.
So he can really do both.
Yeah, I see this. The conversation really starts at Travis, Abdul, or Shador. And I also lean Travis. Shador, it feels too early. It doesn't seem like the NFL world's loving Shador as a prospect or just the media world in general.
And then I see him falling every day.
You could argue maybe if Myles Garrett wasn't re-signed and they did end up moving him to go Abdul Carter, but bringing back Myles Garrett, they also brought in Tyrone Shayinka from the Buccaneers. He's not crazy, but as your second pass rusher, he'll be fine. I think Travis is the best pick here for him.
I saw a lot
of little both too.
I saw a lot of mock drafts. Still having the Browns take Abdul Carter, and it's like, well, it can beef up that pass rush. But the Browns have way too many holes on their roster to be beefing up a place that's already pretty solid. Like you have Myles Garrett, who's
definitely their best part of their team. It was a little bad last year, but it was just the whole team was bad. I think it has to be an offensive player, and I think Travis is he leans receiver probably. They make more money. There's a big hole in Cleveland at receiver. They got Jerry Jeudy and what's his name?
Elijah Moore,
Cedric Tillman. Like they got some decent. Like Jerry Jeudy's good, but Elijah Moore has been done nothing since he's became in the league. Really, he had one decent year with the Jets and has done nothing since. Cedric Tillman had a couple good weeks, maybe 3 good weeks of play this season. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout year, but like also he was getting thrown to by Jameis Winston, who was throwing 40 passes a game to the other team and to Jerry Jeudy. So like, I don't know. I think Travis Hunter's a great pick here. He can play both ways. I think they're going to let him play both ways too.
Probably.
That brings me up in this one I struggle with.
The Giants are tricky too because
very tricky.
Because the whole Russell Wilson thing, that kind of tells me that they're not in rebuild mode. I mean, I don't think Russell Wilson makes them a crazy team. I see them winning 7 games, probably max. But now you have to protect Russell Wilson. So I've seen a lot of Membu, a little Campbell. And the thing is, I don't know if they take Shador at 3 because, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really
Dable and the GM, they're on the hot seat. So are you using that first round pick, especially this high, for a player who's not going to help you keep your job too? That's how you kind of got to look at it. If Shador doesn't play this season, like that's not helping you keep your job as a head coach in Brian Dable or as your GM in New
no.
England. So like when I think what helps you keep your job, I'm thinking offensive line could be in play. Abdul Carter is also in play. 3 feels rich for them offensive linemen though, dude. Like Will Campbell's kind of a tweener guard tackle. Membu, tweener guard tackle, more of a tackle.
Yeah, I think
They
Membu's kind of getting more hype, and like they're literally 7 and 8. But I think more and more that I've seen on Membu, the more I like him over Will Campbell. Um, he had a 90 PFF grade, which is absolutely insane. And he played in Missouri in the SEC, so like it's not like he was playing shit competition. No, he was
been
playing
great.
pretty good.
And he is also he's very athletic too. He had a great he
Yeah.
tested well. This kind of scares me because Abdul Carter's the best player on the board.
Yeah.
They have Brian Burns. Thibodeau was a top, was he fifth? He went
He was
fifth a couple
fifth
years
pick,
ago.
yeah.
And he's been fine. He's not been terrible. He's had a double digit sack season in there. He loses Ejel Jalari. I don't know if you necessarily have to go edge here. Then we're looking
I
tackle.
think their D line's a strength of them. I really think it is.
I think it is too. So I kind of want to trade. I want to trade down.
I don't hate that. I
I
think the
want to trade
Giants
down.
are I think the Giants I had them trading down when they were in the Shador sweepstakes or whatever, because what other team is going to pick a quarterback here?
Mhm.
Like you could say the Raiders, but like they just extended Geno another 2 years, so under contract for 3 years. Like I don't know, I don't
Well,
see any
when we're
of those
looking at this
teams taking
pick too,
quarterback.
two trade down, someone's coming to get Abdul Carter. That's what we're
Hmm.
doing. No one's coming to get Shador. We're coming to get Carter, and that starts with Carolina.
Yeah,
Carolina to Chicago, maybe the Saints, but they have so many needs. Like I just don't think they'd trade up for someone. They have so many picks. They need more. They need as many picks as they can get. Um, Carolina, they lost Brian Burns. They traded him to the Giants. This could be just like go back. Hey, call the Giants. We did your solid, Brian Burns. Give us that. Let's get that pick. Let's get that pick.
yeah.
Because, but like the Patriots, you don't see a one pick move up. This would just be moving up so someone else doesn't. You don't see that very often.
No, not
And
really.
Jacksonville doesn't need edge. Raiders don't really need edge. They brought back
Max Crosby.
Malcolm Kuntz too, and they had still Tyree Wilson, who's a top. So was he seventh
Yeah, 7th overall.
a couple years ago? The Jets don't really need edge. They have plenty of edge. So I think it's Carolina or Chicago. I really do.
Huh.
The Bears. I kind of like the Bears, but
Yeah,
if you're wanting to go offensive line, I think you got to trade with the Panthers.
yeah, you
I think
do.
both the tackles will be gone at 10.
Yeah, I could
But
see.
you got to go Panthers.
Panthers
Carolina,
had. I think I saw like one of the worst scoring defenses like ever last year.
the Giants. So it's 1-8, and then we're talking
And so you're moving up 5 spots.
the first next year. They got it like in the middle, a little too
Yeah,
much.
I'm not good with like draft trades. I'm not good with that.
I'm kind of leaning like 2 seconds. Second this year, second next year.
Yeah, because the Panthers already gave up 2 first-round picks in a DJ Moore deal. So like,
This gives the Giants next second round pick, which they honestly need if they want to address the offensive line even more or go second round quarterback, maybe receiver. Like there's a lot of needs. I like this a lot. A swap and then 2 seconds this year, next year, get the Panthers the pick,
I like that.
and they go Abdul Carter. Oh, you're up. You're up, boy.
All right. Well, the Patriots now. I think they didn't really do much to address the O line, in my opinion. They signed Morgan Moses, who, you know, is old as shit. Did not do well on the Jets last year.
He'll be there for a year.
So now I think the question is, do they take Will Campbell or Membu, whoever they like better? And I don't know who
Who
they
do you
like
like
better. I like Membu better. That's why I like better. So I
I'm
think
fine
I'm
with
go
that
with
too.
Membu here.
I think the NFL likes Membu too. There's weird questions about Will Campbell if he's going to play guard, and then I think out of the top tackle prospects, Membu's probably the for sure out of tackles because Banks can go inside, Will Campbell can go inside. Josh Simmons maybe, but he's on an injury thing, so I think Membo's the pick for sure. Feels like a Patriot. So that gives me 5 Jacksonville, and I'm between on Jacksonville.
Ashton Genty.
I've been seeing the Genty. It just makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. I don't understand it either.
The popular pick's Mason Graham, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They also need corner so bad. Like they're looking at Tyson Campbell and I think Jordan Lewis. That's their corners right now.
Hey, highest nickel ever.
Nickel. Jordan Lewis is a nickel, and Tyson Campbell he's a 2. He's not a 1. Like they needed that 1 corner, but like is it too early for Will Johnson? Which feels crazy because Will Johnson was so good in
2023
season before. And then if you're looking at D line, like I almost want to think D line's one of their stronger things. Their team, like they have Trayvon Walker.
Well, I think the interior is what's not strong.
I don't think it's great, but you're still looking at Eric Armstead, Devon Hamilton, who are plus players. Like I've seen, and everybody's saying that Mason Graham, but they also need a tight end. Could they go Warren at 5? They're down Evan Ingram. They're looking at Brenton Strange starting right now at tight end. I think
I could see that, especially because they got Liam Cohen. Probably want to beef up the O-line, or not the O-line, but the offense in general. Give Lawrence another weapon because Lawrence, I don't know, man. I feel like he's running out of chances over there in Jacksonville, really. Because
his weapons right now are Brian Thomas, Diami Brown, and Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
that's who he's throwing to, and then Brenton Strange. I know Daniel Jeremiah is very high on the tight ends too. His top 50s, he's got these guys really high. I don't know. I'm between Warren and Graham. I'm going Warren.
Hey, it's something different.
Something different. You see Mason Graham every time. Ty Warren at 5. I think their D line is good enough, whereas then their tight end room is so bad. Their tackles are fine. They were fine last year. They're nothing crazy. He can also block. His comp's Gronk. Like he could be one of the better tight ends in football instantly. We saw Brock Bowers just go last year and was one of the better tight ends in football. He was kind of drafted late.
13th, I think is what it was.
I like Warren there. I do. And it's a deeper D line class too. It's also a deep tight end class, but whatever. Already did it.
All right, the Raiders at 6. I mean, I feel like this pick is pretty obvious. Little Mr. Genty there. The thing is, I don't know. I kind of like receiver. Because all they have is Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. And, I mean, they have Brock Bowers, but, like, I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, I kind of lean receiver too, low-key. I mean, you said Genty. We can obviously go Genty. It's a really deep running back class.
It is. So you can probably find a running back in the later rounds. I mean, granted, you're not getting Genty, but let's check out them wide receivers.
And receiver.
Oh, wait, never mind. Ted McMillan.
And then we're looking at Ted. And we're split on Ted. He doesn't like Ted, apparently. Apparently, he doesn't like the nickname Ted. He doesn't like that nickname.
Oh.
He wants to be called T-Mac.
You're not Tracy McGrady, buddy. I'm sorry. One person gets that T-Mac.
Some people don't think. I think Jeremiah had him as like his receiver too. I think he had Golden ahead of him. I think he's the one for sure.
Yeah, I think we go T-Mac here.
T-Mac or Genty?
It's fucking Ted. Let's go Ted. Let's be different.
I like that because I think Genty is just. I don't know. I don't like him as much as anybody else. I feel like he doesn't have those. I don't know. I don't think he has the quick. Bijan had the quick jump cuts, and he could move like no other running back in the class. Genty, he kind of runs like standing up slowly. He reads the runs very well, but like I don't know. I think he's for what people are saying he's going to be compared to like running backs we've seen. Like some of the higher tied running backs were Saquon, Bijan, Fournette. Those guys had much better cases to me than Genty, and they played in much better competition.
Yeah, they did.
Genty gets a lot of love. People love Genty. I don't like him very much.
I don't know.
Yeah. But Like, I don't think there's a huge gap between Genty and Hampton.
I don't think there's either. And then you got both the Ohio State running backs, Henderson and Quinshawn. And then you have Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. You have, let's see, Scatabo. I mean, I'm not really high on him either, but like there's still 3 or 4 running backs you can get that probably won't go in the first round.
And when you're looking at receiver, like outside of the top 4, like then you're looking at second, third round guys who could be good. But when you're looking at running back, you're looking at
not as deep as running back for sure.
Running back, you're looking at 1, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 guys you'd be comfortable with taking in the second, third round. And because it's a running back, like not every team is going to need running back. These guys are going to be there longer than you expect. Like, whereas receivers are going to go much quicker. But I like the pick for sure. I like Tet. That's been one of my favorite picks is Tet to the Raiders. Just because no way they bring in Geno. They tell him, here, we're going to let you throw to Jacoby Myers as your 1A X receiver. Like, and then Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is great, but he's a tight end. And you got to think that he's going to be defense's main focus point. Especially in year 2 coming around, they don't really have a running back. So, like, I think they brought in Raheem Mostert. Which
I think I saw it. Yeah.
He's good. He's fine. And that makes me think Raheem Mostert isn't someone you pick up and then you don't draft Genty, but that makes me think they're willing to go Mostert and then maybe a second, third round guy to have like a dual backfield. And then just get Geno run a weapon in the first 6 picks like Tet. I like that. I don't understand how they can have Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers be and they didn't bring anybody in. They didn't bring anybody in with Geno. I don't know. Anyways, I'm up 7. I think this is Will Campbell.
It's got to be the other one.
Mason Graham's still here too. Graham or Campbell? Well, Campbell, I think that's the pick. You're looking at an offensive line of Tittman, Tucker, Fashanu in his second year. Who knows?
Who didn't even play his first year, really.
Other tackle's atrocious. And
your
then
D tackle,
guards
Quinn Williams.
John Simpson. Left guard's John Simpson. Like, he can play guard or tackle. He can play left or he can play. And Fashanu can move too. He played behind both of those guys, Moses and Tyron Smith last year. I think it's Will Campbell. I'm gonna go Campbell.
I think it is too. I think it's
their
whatever
offensive
tackle
so bad
wasn't
last
taken
year.
there.
They're gonna be running the ball a lot.
Pretty bad for Rodgers.
They're gonna run the ball a lot. I like the offensive line pick. You're up.
See, now this kind of screws over the Giants here because now both of those tackles are gone. Huh. Interesting. Let me check something out for him. With both of those tackles gone, do you think they for sure go Shador now? What?
They could. They could reach on Banks maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if I like 3 tackles going to the top 8. I don't know if I like that. The thing is,
I'm not a big Tyrone Tracy guy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not huge on Tyrone Tracy.
I mean, yeah, that could help them.
They could go running back if the tackles are gone. I don't know how they feel about Shador, though. That's the thing. Like, if Shador gets past the Giants, where would Shador end up going?
Pittsburgh.
That the first team that would come is Pittsburgh.
I mean, probably. Let's look at it.
Dallas,
Saints, probably not. Bears, no. 49ers, no. Dallas, no. Dolphins, no.
Maybe the Saints, but they have so many needs.
Colts, no. Falcons, no. Cardinals, no. Bengals, no. Seahawks, no. I mean, maybe, but not in the first round. Tampa, no. Denver, no. They just took a first-round quarterback last year. So probably Pittsburgh.
What are you thinking?
Actually, the more you say that, the Genty pick, because Dable is on the hot seat, that's a move that could get the Giants fans interested. It could potentially save a job, really.
And as someone who I was a part of an organization that drafted late a good running back in Tyler Algier, and then the next year, after he ran for 1,000 yards, we took Bijan at 8. So, like, when you look at the Giants, you had Tyrone Tracy, who's a late-round pick, turned out, ran for 1,000 yards. Next year comes around, you got a generational running back, Ashton Genty. He's here at 7 or here at 8. I don't hate that at all. Same kind of same pick and everything. It's just I don't know. It's your pick though. You pick.
I like the Genty pick, but also Jalen Walker wouldn't be bad here either because he's somebody that can play both linebacker and edge as well. It can be that second edge rusher or maybe third, really. Depends how they feel on Thibodeau, but their linebackers are what Micah McFadden, Bobby Okereke. I think Okereke's only got 1 year left on his deal.
Not crazy.
So I mean, I like Genty here. I say we take Genty, but also look out for Jalen Walker at this point.
I haven't seen Genty the Giants at 8 once. I like that a lot.
I haven't either because I don't think he got past 5.
I don't
or
like that
6.
I don't like the Raiders getting him at 6. It just feels like a move. Feels like something you got to, if you trade for a quarterback and then extend him, you got to give him a weapon.
I think the thing is, I think people are putting way too much stock in the Pete Carroll, Marshawn Lynch stuff because he had Marshawn Lynch over in Seattle, so now he wants the new Marshawn Lynch and Genty. Like I don't know. Like when people say Genty's this generational talent, I don't really see it personally. He played at Boise State. I mean, sure, he had a good game against Oregon, and I think he had a good game against one of the other good teams they played. He didn't really have a bad game at all last year, but like he was the main focal point of the offense. He wouldn't be like that in the NFL with any team really, unless he went to your Falcons maybe. But you have Bijan, so no. So like, I don't know. I'm just not big on.
Also, the Giants have Neighbors, who's a good receiver. Mm-hmm. They have some other young receivers. Like they're not screwed. They definitely need O-line. And if you're the Giants, you just picked up an extra second round pick too. You could be flirting with the Dart selection in the second round if you wanted to do that, or you could go with Milroe. I guess the Steelers like Milroe, but I'm passing.
Take him.
Anyways, at 9, the Saints, my bitter rival. For me, it's tackle or edge. They have so many needs. I don't think they'd go Shador just because they just have way too many needs before he could step in and be like a plus starter.
What would be your take on
receiver, line, edge, corner, everything?
I wouldn't hate looking at corner here because they lost Marshawn Lattimore because they traded him last year, and then they lost Paulson Adebo to the Giants this past year. They didn't sign anybody, so
yeah.
And I think this could be prime Will Johnson. I mean, it's your pick, but I'm just giving a different perspective here. Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron. A lot of people liking Jahdae Barron over Will Johnson. I mean, I don't know. I don't do a full study on these guys, but
I think I'm on Johnson over Barron right now. Just not my crazy amount, but
I just think Johnson's more upside really because he's shown he can be a top corner. Jahdae Barron, I don't know if he really has.
He was banged up a little last year too. I think Ryan Ramchik's going to retire. Like it's really leaning towards retirement because he's been injured so much.
Yeah, kind of feel bad for that guy. But tackle here, yeah, we got Kelvin
took Fuaga last year.
Yeah.
Like I would think I'm between Banks, and there's still the edge rushers here too. Like they have Chase Young, but other than that,
and they have Carl Granderson, I think.
Carl Granderson, like that's nothing ridiculous.
That's nothing crazy.
You want to take the biggest positions needs. It's between the corner. I think it's between Will Johnson, Jalen Walker, and Kelvin Banks. And I think it's a deeper edge class. So maybe you hold off on edge till next round.
Yeah.
And then you're looking tackle or corner.
Corner's kind of deep, but like
corner gets really thin past like third round. He's really thin.
Yeah.
Like, he goes from 67 to 90 pretty quickly. I think I go Will Johnson. Talk me into it. I like it.
That's usually the pick I do in these drafts. I'd take Will Johnson to the Saints.
He has the same arc as like the Derek Stingley, who had a bad year, turned into a good player. He's the highest paid corner in the league now.
Yeah, he is one of the best corners of the league. I don't think everybody's gonna be like that. Have a good year then a bad year, and then be one of the best corners in football. But
they need corners. Kool-Aid's there, but they need him to have a running mate. And maybe letting Paulson Adebo go means they knew they wanted to go corner early. I like corner.
Maybe. And they need to replace Lattimore, yeah. All right, the Chicago Bears. A lot of people like Amarian Hampton here because they need running back. I don't know if I'm on that boat. I just really don't. I think I go edge here if I'm the Chicago Bears, personally. And the thing is, now the question is, which edge do you take?
If who's your top edge available?
Well, Jalen Walker can play that multiple positions. Shamar Stewart's that freak athlete, but not much production, so I'm not really high on him, really. I guess a freak athlete, but 4.5 sacks isn't going to do it for me, personally. Michael Williams, Mike Green, I mean, off the field, one of the worst edge rushers, but hey, we're great when he does on the field. I like Jalen Walker here, man. I really do.
Jalen Walker, Paranex Montez Sweat.
Yeah. And the Bears, I'm pretty sure they struggled with pass rush last year. Like, I'm pretty sure they weren't up there in terms of sacks.
No, they weren't. And again, like, you're going to have the running backs there in the second round that you could flirt with. You could even have Hampton there in the second round, really, depending on how the board goes.
Yeah, because really, there's only one other team I see in the first round potentially taking a running back. Actually, no, two. Because you got Dallas and you got Denver.
For me, at 11, the Niners are sprinting to take Mason Graham.
Oh, dude, yeah. That fell right in their lap.
Best case scenario for him. For
1,000,000%.
They have one of the worst interior D lines in the depth. Like, if you look at their depth chart right now, dude, I think it's Jordan Elliott starting. It is one of the worst things in football. It is terrible. Mason Graham's here.
Dude, they had such a terrible offseason because they let like everybody go.
They did. Lost Javon Hargrave, lost Armstead a year or two ago now.
Travaris Ward.
Javon Kinlaw left, went to the Jets, and then got a big fat payday.
That was crazy. That was one of the biggest ever pays in free agency, really. But
if you look at the way the board went, like, it's not insane to think this could happen.
No.
Because depending on how you feel with the Jags pick, that's where it starts.
I don't hate that for them, you know. They usually, when you bring an offensive coach, usually your first round pick is probably offense, you know. And obviously, we saw how
Evan Ingram or they traded Christian Kirk. Like,
they need somebody to. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least in my opinion, Trevor's running out of options here. Not options, but he's running out of time, in my opinion, because he hasn't really lived up to that number one overall pick. Was tied for the highest paid quarterback in the league. Like, he just hasn't done much. He got hurt last year. And then, you know, to me, he's a bust. That's just my thing. Sorry, Jags fans. He just is. I was told he's the next Peyton Manning. I haven't seen it yet. But, you know, Peyton had a slow start to his career, too. So, maybe.
What are you looking at here at 12?
Dallas is also another tricky one for me because when probably in February, January, when the mock drafts first started coming out, this is where Genty was 1,000,000% going.
Yeah.
But Genty's gone. And I don't know how I feel about Hampton. A lot of people like him, and they did only get Javonte Williams in free agency. That's not I don't think that's your, running back of the future, or even this year.
I think they brought in Miles Sanders too.
Oh, they did. I also asked. I'll let TikTok convince me into taking him early in fantasy one year. Bust.
Could this be on a trade spot?
I think it could. But the thing is, would they be trading up? Because
someone coming to get Shador? Is that what we're looking at?
Who would that be, though? Pittsburgh? I don't think Pittsburgh likes to trade up.
Well, they'd have to have a reason to trade up, and none of these teams are going to take Shador.
Yeah.
So, like, are you coming to get Kelvin Banks, Jahdae Barron? Maybe it's Jahdae Barron?
Maybe it is. So, I could see the Cardinals doing that because their corner room is pretty ass.
Cardinals jump us, who could easily take corner.
Same with the Bengals, but we don't usually trade up, so I don't know about
Colts
that.
Could go corner. The Dolphins could go corner too. I don't hate that at all. I think that would make sense. Cardinals move up to 12 to take Barron.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are a hot spot to take an edge rusher, which I just don't understand. They're not the best edge rusher, but they have 4 or 5 guys they've drafted recently.
Yeah, Josh Collins has been good. They just got Josh Sweat in free agency.
They brought in Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins. B.J. Ojolari was a second-round pick that got hurt last year. Baron Browning they traded for. Darius Robinson they drafted in the first round, I think last year.
Like, that sounds right.
I don't think they're going edge. They have and they have a defensive-minded coach. Like, he can bring the best. What am I looking for? Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dallas. And what would this be? Like a third?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think once you get to the teens, it's not that high or whatever.
Talking 4 picks here. I think they can give a third to get this done. And Barron's just the pick.
Yep.
Gots to be. It's a premier position too. If you wait, you're risking the Dolphins going there. You're risking Colts, Falcons. I like it a lot. All right, Dolphins. I'm leaning tackle, especially with Armstead retiring. Like their tackles are Austin Jackson and fucking Eichenberg. Like it's not great. It's not great.
It's pretty bad.
They brought in James Daniels, who's a good guard, one of the best guards in free agency. I like Kelvin Banks here. I'm not gonna even think about it much. They gotta protect. Like you're protecting Tua at all costs. Like
Yeah.
if Tua gets hurt again, like what are we doing? How long of a leash can this guy get if he keeps getting hurt?
One player I'd also look out at the Dolphins pick is Malachi Starks, because they literally need a safety. And Javon Holland, he left in free agency. They hadn't re-signed Jordan Poyer, but I don't think he was too crazy for him last year. He's also getting up there in age, so they need also somebody there too. And I saw the mock draft today, and I like that from Malachi Starks. I personally am going a little later, but whatever there's a need, there's a need.
I think they brought in some like prove it safeties. Maybe Melifonwu from the Lions. They brought in some guys
not
that
world
were
beaters.
No, almost like band-aids that you could look at. Yeah, Ifatu Melifonwu, Ashton Davis from the Jets.
Ashton Davis.
Like, depending on how you feel about those guys, their secondary is not great outside of Jalen Ramsey. Really, it's really not.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's definitely a shout too. I think of between them two, Kelvin Banks and Malachi Starks. There's no way they let two have no tackles, right?
There's no way.
All right, 14. What do you got going on?
We got the Colts here. I think tight end's probably the move here. Let's look at other things. Safety. No, they just brought in Cam behind him. I don't need another safety.
Kind of fine. Corner, but like corners are gone.
I think it's got to be Loveland here.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what they're going to do. They at least one of the tight ends. Like,
yeah, if
they
Warren's
don't have
there,
any needs. They just need AR to lock in. Like, they don't have a ton of needs, especially when they addressed secondary immensely in the offseason. Like
Travaris Ward,
and Cam Bynum. They just need offense to click. They have running backs. They have receivers. They have an offensive line. They could maybe go interior, but 14 feels a little early for interior guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think Loveland at 14. They're fine with Loveland or Warren, whoever's there at 14. They'd be perfectly fine with that. Early for the tight ends, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. And then my team. I mean, come on. It's the worst. It's the worst defensive line in all of football. I can say that pretty confidently. It just depends on who you like more. We also don't have any. We have 4 picks in this draft. We don't have any picks, so you could entertain a trade down. But because there's a couple edge rushers available, you can entertain a trade down. You got to think the Bengals are edge rusher team that could go edge rusher. Tampa Bay could go edge.
Yeah.
Chargers
maybe could. They lost Joey.
They got Tui Pelotu and Khalil Mack on a 1-year deal. Packers had a really bad pass rush in the first round, or in the playoff games, not first round. But then you're asking who you coming up for, and like which edge would that be? Like, I think a lot of these teams that are back here in the same boat as the Falcons, like we're not going to trade up for someone. We're just going to like take who we can get because if you see them all kind of similar, For me, I have these two as my next best edge rushers: Mike Green and James Pierce.
I do like James Pierce.
I'm a big Mike Green fan. I think James Pierce is better. I would rather have James Pierce than probably Shamar. Michael Williams is a really good run defender, and he's from Georgia. I could see that too from the Falcons. But the guy who's like most proven, I know he didn't go to the best college, but like the most proven guy here is Mike Green. And the Falcons, that's who I'm going to take. I'm going to go with Mike Green. I like Mike Green. He's my edge 2 behind Carter. I'm tempted, but I think they need to stop playing games. As a Falcons fan, stop playing games, betting on edge rushers who you're hoping will be just pan out in the second round. You take your edge rusher in the first round. There's
Yeah.
a jockey quarterback pick here this year.
Take a
Like,
more proven guy, really.
take the guy that's proven, regardless of where he played. He had like 16, 17 sacks last year, 25 TFLs. Just outstanding. He's got concerns, but like we're one of the best run organizations in football in terms of like personnel, not in terms of winning, but the Falcons are pretty pristine spot to play.
Can't say the same.
Like Dallas.
So we have Dallas here. I've seen Matthew Golden. I've seen some edge help with Micah Parsons. They haven't got his deal done yet. And surely they get his deal done, right? I mean, surely.
Yeah.
They kind of have to.
Who's getting paid there? Dak and CD? That's about it.
Dak, CD.
Zach Martin retired.
Yeah, that's probably it. Or wait, no, Terrence Steele. I think he got paid kind of deal. Oh yeah,
Diggs as well. Paid, yeah. Where are you leaning?
Actually, here's something kind of interesting. I'm looking at Jahad Campbell there, kind of somebody that can also play multiple positions.
Okay.
Can play the linebacker. They don't really have any good linebackers. Overshown tore his ACL, and he's not going to be ready till mid-season. Who else is their linebackers? I don't know.
They brought in Kenneth Murray.
Yeah, next.
And Jack Sanborn, I'm pretty sure.
Jack Sanborn's actually not terrible, but Kenneth Murray's, I think he's widely known as.
They didn't address it too much.
Not good
at all.
So I think I kind of like Jahad Campbell here.
I don't hate that at all, actually. Yeah, I think it's between honestly the Texas guys, Shamar Stewart, Matthew Golden, and Jahad Campbell. I don't think they'd go running back. They brought in Javonte and Miles Sanders. Like, that's different than bringing in Raheem Mostert. Javonte was someone who was good recently. Like, he was really good before his big injury, and then Miles Sanders is someone who can just be that third down kind of guy. So they could be just fuck it, we ball with those guys, and you could even take a guy in the later rounds. Whereas like linebacker, there's not a lot of linebackers. No. You're drafting this linebacker to be your guy. I like that a lot, actually. John Campbell. I haven't seen that a lot either.
I haven't seen that either. But I was looking at it, I was like,
I saw it in the beginning, because they had no thing. They didn't dress it at all. But then, after they brought in Sanborn and Murray, people kind of backed off just because, position of need and additional value. We got your Bengals, man. I'll let you help me out here.
I think we're also going edge.
It's got to be edge. Corners are gone. Maybe could it be safety?
It actually could. I don't
Starks. Starks can also play in the slot too if you need him to.
Probably will.
You play that one high shell defense too.
Geno Stone has 1 year left. Was really bad up until the last month of the season. Jordan Battle, young. Von Bell started over the majority of the year, so that kind of scares me.
Interiors of play too, necessarily. Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan.
I wouldn't hate any of those guys. If I'm a Bengals fan and we take Malachi Starks, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, or James Pierce, I wouldn't hate that at all. The only edge rusher I don't like is Shamar Stewart. And that's just because I want somebody who has proven they can play, or not proven they can play, but production. You had a lot of sacks in college. That's what I'm saying. I just don't want some freak athlete. I don't want somebody who had a great combine, because we've been down that route before. John Ross had a great combine. We drafted him just for his 40 time, and we saw how that went. But he was not very good.
What's the deal with Trey? Are we for sure? Where are you leaning right now?
I don't know. I think.
Are you leaning he's going to be on the team next year?
I hope so. All I've seen is Katie Blackburn, or whatever, one of our executives, said that. I don't know exactly what the word she said, but basically kind of just dismissed Trey. Probably did not make him very happy. So I don't know. The thing is, we're asking for a first-round pick for him. Both teams are willing to shell that out for a 30-year-old edge rusher. I don't know if we're going to pay him. Really don't. I think we should. Just give him a 3-year deal, call it a day, but I don't know. I think we got to go edge here just because I would like
question marks.
I would like Starks, don't get me wrong, but
pass rusher more. I lean Michael or James Pierce. James Pierce is more of the pure pass rusher. Michael is a really good run defender and has without it before injury like last year, he was seen as one of the better edge rushers in the class. Could be a very good edge rusher too.
It's your pick, man. I'm fine with any of those two.
I kind of like Mikel
I do
because
too.
your run defense is atrocious too. Like
he could like replace Sam Hubbard
he
because
can play Sam Hubbard role, and
he was our
can,
main run defender.
He is. I think he's a very high floor as a run defender. Like he was very good run. Even when injured, he was a very good run defender. Just a very disciplined run defender too. Like he didn't fall for the bullshit in the backfield. And then he can still be the best pass rusher in this class if it pans out. Like if potential goes the way it is. I know we talked about drafting guys who produced, but James Pierce, I think he only had 7 sacks last year. Like he had a good year, the year before, but he had 7 sacks last year. Character concerns. Shamar Stewart has no production. Michael Williams had decent production, and he was injured, and he still. I think Michael Williams has the highest floor of those guys, for sure. So that brings you up at 18. This is a weird pick too, especially with Jahad Campbell gone.
I think this is where we start looking interior line because their guards are. I just looked it up. Satoa Lamia. I don't know if I said that right. And they literally and Christian Hayes. So like, I think they got to go guard here. Now the question is Tyler Booker or Gray Zabel. And that's really the big question there. A lot of people like Gray Zabel, but he went to North Dakota State. I don't know. Could be the whole Trey Lance stuff. I'm not big on guys in smaller schools, but and Tyler Booker from Alabama.
Could it be a tackle kicked in too? Like could it be Simmons and then maybe you move somebody in?
Yeah, you could. Their tackles actually aren't bad. They have what Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, I think his name is.
Yeah, I think Lucas has really bad injury problems though. Like he's been hurt 2 years in a row. Josh Simmons also had a pretty bad injury.
I think it was like clavicle or something like that, or patella.
He was really good in the first like couple weeks. I think it was the first 6 weeks maybe. Very good, but then he got injured, so like who knows. There's also this weird thing with they just don't take first round guards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing is, who would they take instead? That's my thing. If they don't go that route, go edge. I mean, maybe
edge. Shamar Stewart or James Pierce. I'd probably go James Pierce.
I like James Pierce over Shamar.
I've seen some safety
Julian Love, Pro Bowler last year.
Julian Love and Kobe Bryant, I think safeties. I don't know. It's your pick. I think I don't know. I'm between. If I had to do it, I'd be Starks, Simmons, and one of the guards. Like that's where I'm at.
I think I'm going. Yeah, fuck it. I'll go Gray Zabel here.
All right. North Dakota State. Go Bisons. Isn't it Bisons?
It's something like that.
Tampa Bay. I'm getting all my teams. My division. The whole fucking division, huh? Okay. Tampa Bay. They really wanted John Campbell. He's gone. So then we're like, oh, fuck. So then we're looking corner. They're gone too. You're panic mode. I think Malachi Starks could be a good fit for the Bucks. They have Winfield. They have Jordan Whitehead, but he's like, come on, Jordan Whitehead. And then their corners, they could use a nickel. They're looking at Jamel Dean, who's more of an outside guy. Zion McCollum's more of an outside guy. I think Tyke Smith was one of their guys too. Malachi Starks could play slot. He could play that Brian Branch role for the Bucks. And just looking at the board, like they need edge, but I don't know. I don't know if they're sold on either of these guys because they do still have Yad Yabi. They brought in
Hassan Reddick.
They have Byron Young still there. I don't know. Elijah Cansey, they just drafted, who's kind of like that tweener edge interior guy 2 years ago. I kind of like Starks here a lot, actually, the more I think about it. I think it'd be great.
I think Malachi Starks is a great player.
I think it'd be perfect in their system. He can play in the slot or he can play up top shell. That means Winfield can play in the box more than he can, and Perfect. I like it. Talk yourself into it. Broncos. The Bucking Broncos.
I think they kind of have to go running back here. I mean, they didn't address it at all.
No,
Like,
it's Jaleel McLaughlin right now.
yeah, like that's not your starting running back, right? Like, there's no way. So I think it's got to be Hampton here. Don't think
The only thing I'd flirt with would be receiver, and
yeah. But the thing is, it'd be their wide receiver 2 next to Sutton. Like,
yeah. And
running
Mims
back,
wasn't
they
bad
better
last
start.
year. Mims had some games, especially against your Bengals. He had some games.
Fuck.
He had a really good game against Cleveland too, didn't he?
That wasn't a catch. I'm still, but it wasn't a
I
catch.
think he had a really good game against Cleveland as well.
Who doesn't?
But he was in that duel with Jerry Jeudy. I think Hampton's definitely the favorite right now, though. Then if you're Pittsburgh, you're kind of happy. Shador's fallen to 21.
Yeah.
If this is even a fall, I don't know if it's a fall. I think in terms of like ADP,
It is a fall, but
like,
in terms
it
of
might be a fall. But
in terms of value, I don't know.
this could be like perfect value for Shador. I'm not gonna spend much time on him. I'm just gonna take Shador. You got to. They don't have a quarterback. Rodgers is playing fucking goose, like duck duck goose. They don't know what he's gonna do. He could just retire. Right now, Mason Rudolph's the starter.
Hey man, he was starting a playoff game for him.
They have honestly they need a running back as well a lot because they don't. It's right now it's Jalen Warren, but like the running backs are gone. Shador's sitting here. It's got to be Shador. Yeah.
All right, now the Chargers. I'm looking D line here, as in interior. Yeah, and I think the Jim Harbaugh Michigan connection.
Sure
Kenneth
did.
Grant getting one of his old players or Walter Nolan. I think you go Kenneth Grant here because their interior is pretty bad. Let me just, who do they have on that
Lost
interior?
Boone Ford too. Had a really good year last year.
Gotta see.
Shout out Boone Ford. Really good year. PFF wise. No, I agree. Kenneth Grant. Michigan connection. It feels like one of those Michigan guys are going to end up with Harbaugh, whether it's Will Johnson getting 22, whether it's Kenneth Grant, Colson.
If Will Johnson gets to 22, I feel like that'd be crazy.
They could even move up for him too. I've had that happen once in one of my mocks. Just because their corner room is atrocious. It's Dante Jackson, Tarheeb Steele. They didn't bring back Asante Samuel. He's currently unsigned.
That's kind of crazy.
But he's good enough to be signed, guys. Come on. And then if you're Green Bay.
I'll sign him right now. Deshaun Hand, Justin Ebeligby, Christopher Hinton. Like Tyre Tart.
He was good for like a couple years.
These guys are dog shit.
What happened to Deshaun Hand? He was good for the Lions for a second.
I remember his first year.
Shit days.
His first year in the Chargers was he played the Bengals. He had 3 sacks in that game. I remember that.
What a game! Yeah. If I'm Green Bay, this is perfect because you can go Shamar Stewart or Matthew Golden. I think wide receiver is a real option for them because Christian Watson keeps getting hurt. I've seen a lot about how Romeo Doubs is a concussion or 2 away from retiring. Like, you're looking at Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks for Jordan Love to throw to. Edge, while their edge wasn't great, like, they drafted Van Ness pretty highly 2 years ago.
They still have Rashawn Gary.
They still have Rashawn Gary. He's one of the better edge rushers in football. They have, I think they brought somebody else in too. Maybe I'm tripping. But they have edge rushers, and then they also have a decent interior with Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt, who's whatever. But their D line's not necessarily their biggest issue, in my opinion. I think they just played bad against the Eagles because the Eagles have the best offensive line. Like sometimes you just play bad. But I think I'm going Matthew Golden.
I don't hate that.
Pair him up next to Jaden Reed.
And the thing is, you could say they could go corner because the whole Jair Alexander situation, but I don't think they're going to reach on a corner first round.
They also brought in Nate Hobbs, too, who's fine for the Raiders. Like
exactly.
He can play that slot. And then I think Jair's talked down his trade talks. I think he's staying now. But regardless, I think Keyshawn Dixon or Nixon's their second corner right now. This is the returner, turned corner. Like, what are we doing?
Bit of yucks.
All right, you're up. 24.
24 Minnesota. I'm looking at Nick Ward here.
Yeah.
They lost out on Cam Bynum. Harrison Smith is not getting any younger. And they have Josh Metellus too, but like he's kind of both. He can play linebacker and he can play
Yeah.
safety. You need an established safety. Nick
They were
Emmanwori,
at their best when they had 3 safeties.
Nick Emmanwori, you could argue he's better than Malachi Starks. Some people like him more than Starks. Not me
Yep.
personally, but I've seen a lot about that. So I think if Nick Emmanwori's here, I think if you're Minnesota, you got to pull the trigger.
This is a very popular trade spot too, because the Vikings have 4 draft picks. So, I mean, in terms of a trade, you're looking at someone coming up for Shamar Stewart.
That could be the Lions in Washington.
Could it be the Lions? But
Actually,
you
let's
gotta also,
do that instead. Let's do that instead. There's been many trades.
I think somewhere that could happen. This could be. I think you got to stay in front of Baltimore because they could also. I think if you did a Rams trade up to 24 to jump the Texans to take Josh Simmons to play tackle for him. What do you think with that?
That is a big spot because you have the Rams who need tackle as well as the Texans. Then you have Baltimore, Detroit, and Washington who all kind of need edge help, really.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I think if you're Minnesota, you want to stay in front of Baltimore just because they could very easily take Nick Emmanwori.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're looking at Kyle Hamilton. Marcus Williams was so bad last year. Like
He was a terrible signing for them. I was
he's
like
been
kind of
terrible for them. Really
I was
bad.
kind of mad when he signed him because I was like, he was a good safety in New Orleans. So yeah, let's do the Rams trade up for Simmons. I like that because that
And
works
if
out
you're
for
looking
both
at
teams.
Houston, they would be pissed right now too because they Josh Simmons is falling to him maybe, but they're just it's not going to work out. Sorry about it. Sorry about it, Houston. You've made too many bad moves. You deserve this. You honestly just deserve this to happen to you. And it's nothing crazy. It's like
You traded
third.
D Hop for a pack of Lay's potato
Is it a
chips.
fourth even? A fourth might get it done.
Oh yeah, it's 2 spots.
Pick up an extra 4th-round pick. The Rams go Josh Simmons. Now you're just pissed off if you're Houston. I think you look interior if you're Houston. You have to.
Because
And
didn't
staring at you.
they signed some tackle. What was his name? Oh,
They brought in Trent Brown.
yep, that's who it was.
They brought in another one too. Who was it? They brought in 2.
2 like not like really good guys because Trent Brown's old and injury proven.
2 Band-Aids. Who was it? Cam Robinson, that's what it was.
That's who it was, yeah.
Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, they brought in to play tackle.
Cam Robinson wasn't terrible for the Vikings last year. I was kind of surprised he went unsigned for that long.
I'm taking Tyler Booker.
1,000,000%.
Their interior is a joke. Let me round that out with Nick Emmanwori.
Yep.
26. So yeah, although I like that a lot. If I'm the Vikings, you want to pick up that extra pick, even if this is just Houston for the 1-1, to trade up to 24 so that they don't get jumped by the Rams. You could hear Minnesota calling the Rams, what do you want to give me for this? And then you call Houston and say they're going to be this to take Josh Simmons unless you could be more kind of vibe. Sonny Weaver their ass, like I can see that easily. But if you're Baltimore, Shamar Stewart's still available. James Pierce is still available. The Lions, these next 3 teams really need edge desperately. Maybe not desperately for Baltimore because they get a lot of sacks still, but
they have a good defensive
Detroit
scheme.
and Washington definitely do. Safeties are gone. Tackles are gone. Interior's gone. I think
Interior's kind of gone. You can argue Donovan Jackson could be in the first round, but
these Mabes. Ooh, Walter Nolan's. I'm a big Walter Nolan fan. Put him next to Justin Matabike. That would be dangerous. Or sorry, Nnamdi.
Justin, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh, I like that a lot. Because they've had edge success with regardless who's out there.
Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy 12.5 sacks last year for him. That's crazy.
I'm going to Nolan. Put him next to Nnamdi. I think our Darius Washington's their who's their other D tackle right now? They play a 3-4, so right now we're looking at Travis Jones, who's a pure nose tackle. Matabike at edge, and then Broderick Washington. Who's she? So then we're looking at Walter Nolan in that spot, and then you have Van Noy, who's actually pretty good since he's been in the Ravens. He's old, but he's been very good for the Ravens the last few years. David Ojabo, Dafe Owe, Adisa Isaac was a second or third round pick like last year. I like that a lot for the Ravens. I like that a lot. Lions.
I think they're ecstatic in this how the board falls. You have Shamar Stewart in your hands, and you have James Pierce at your hands. James Pierce most likely probably fall this far, but even though I like James Pierce more than Shamar Stewart, but I feel like having some type of athletic freak next to Aiden Hutchinson that can maybe help Shamar Stewart develop and what he needs to do with, I'm pretty sure I saw he added 40 pounds of extra muscle, I think, is what I saw for Shamar Stewart. So he's became even more of a bigger athlete. So I think I like that for Detroit. Shamar Stewart.
No, I don't disagree. And he can also go inside and play a little bit if he needs to. He's played interior. I know they have
he's a big
McNeil, DJ Reader. I think Uzurike came back on a 1-year deal. DJ Reader's old as shit. He could eventually even end up playing D tackle if they wanted to kick him inside. And I think whoever drafts him is going to want him to play an exclusive edge position to see what he actually can do out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that he come here, he can play next to Aiden Hutchinson, not have all that pressure on him to be the number one. And also here, if you're Commanders, you're looking at edge all day.
Mm-hmm.
Their edge, they have one of the worst edge rushing groups in the league right now too. And I'm a James Pierce guy.
I like him too.
People like Donovan Azaraku a lot. I know PFF likes him a lot, but I'm still James Pierce.
Not familiar with his game, quite frankly.
I think he had a hell of a combine. He's a freak. He can bend with the best of them. If you want to put him out there with like who else would be edge rushing there? Dorrance Armstrong, kind of Frankie Louvu sometimes. Like they need edge help bad. They lost Dante Fowler. They brought the best of Dante Fowler. You can't. But James Pierce is better than Dante Fowler. Surely you can put him in there and be just as good, if not better. Don't want to give him a ceiling, but Buffalo.
We're with Buffalo. Now, one position, they could go wide receiver. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that for the MVP and Josh Allen. Because you still have Emeka Egbuka and you still have Luther Burt, who I don't know if Kansas State will take a wide receiver. I don't think they will, no. But then you could go D-line, Derek Harmon, or maybe even one of the edge rushers. The thing is, they released Von Miller, so they kind of need to replace him, even though Von Miller was kind of ass last year. And they have Ed Oliver on the inside, and they have Greg Rousseau on the outside as well.
Ron Joy Bosa.
Oh, that's never mind. So they probably go D-line here. And Derek Harmon, I don't hate that for him, really. I think if Derek Harmon, he probably will go this late or whatever. It's really between him and Walter Nolan. Really who you like better, kind of.
Buffalo also had the PED boys get in trouble, too.
Yeah, Larry Ogunjobi
and Michael Quick.
So, I mean, I think Derek Harmon's got to be the pick.
No, I like that a lot, too.
But, they can also look at wide receiver as well.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Chiefs. Now, this one, I feel like Kansas City could use an edge rusher.
Jackson Dart.
Like,
Mahomes getting old.
Receivers, they're getting receiver Ice back, who's been fantastic since he's been
Xavier Worthy seemed pretty good
really
last
turned
year.
It on towards the end of the year, especially in the playoffs. Travis Kelce, it's still Travis Kelce. He's going to be doing something. They have gadget players too. Like I think they brought back Juju. Maybe be wrong. They already have the gadget slot players, and they're a team that doesn't necessarily need crazy receivers. They've proven that. I think they still need offensive line too, though. Like they lost a lot of pieces. They brought in Jalen Moore.
They also brought back Hollywood Brown as well.
That's it. If Jalen Moore turns out to be what they think he's going to be, that'd be a slam dunk like signing. They think he could be a starting left tackle in the league. Okay. They lost Joe Tooney. I think they're trying to move. I think they're trying to move Sua Mataia into guard, which he's a second round pick last year. So like, if you're willing to give that a shot, and Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Juwan Taylor. So like, offensive line they could be kind of set on in terms of like starters for the season.
Mhm.
So then I'm kind of looking at who it's Karloftis, it's Mike Dana.
Mike
Who
Dana.
else is rushing for this team?
Technically Chris Jones, but he's interior.
I think I like the Donovan Izaraku pick. I think that would be, and if he goes to the Eagles, that would just be such an Eagles ass pick, dude. Like, oh my god.
And he's 32nd prospect.
I'm gonna take Izaraku because I think they would kill themselves if they thought the Eagles could get another premier edge rusher, not premier, but first round edge rusher late in the draft, fell right in their lap. And the Eagles kind of a weird pick too. Can go a lot of directions.
They did lose a lot on the D line this offseason. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat. So they could probably go with a Nick Scorton. I don't think they addressed guard, losing Mekhi Becton, but that's one
Traded
position.
for Ed Ingram, I think.
Like maybe.
Who's she?
You could really put anybody in there. He came from Minnesota, right? Ed Ingram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like Nick Scorton here. I really do. I think he's probably Landon Jackson seems like a reach for him. The Ohio State guys, Jack Sawyer, I'm not really sold on him. I think he just kind of had a, Sam Hubbard-esque ass play, kind of ran a fumble back for a touchdown. That's kind of.
They just also don't have a ton of needs, so it's kind of tough. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
they brought in Ojulari
their third team need is wide receiver. No, it's not. It's quite offensive tackle
too.
Yeah, on a cheap 1-year deal, linebacker. Technically,
they did lose Josh Sweat. Their edge rushers on paper, we're looking at Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Azeez Ojulari.
It's not a great group.
It's not a great group on paper. I mean, they play better just because it's the Eagles, but
their interior
they
is
play
what does
better
it for them. Jordan Davis
is so damn good. Yeah.
And
I think with the D line gone too, like with Derek Harmon was here, Derek Harmon be slam dunk, but he's not. He went to Buffalo, so no, I like Scorton. He can play.
I like Scorton too.
He can play a little bit both, and he was also a very highly touted player out of college last year. So we had 3 trades. We had Carolina come up, Arizona come up, and Minnesota traded back a couple picks. But I feel like this isn't too chalk. I mean, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, whatever.
I think that's 100% correct.
I think this is We got a little dicey here in the beginning, like middle first 10 picks with Warren, Tet, Genty at 8. The more I think about that would just be like, that just feels right. It feels right. They took Saquon. They're pissed. Everybody
took Saquon at 2.
Oh, if they can get Genty at 8, that would be fantastic. That would be something. Let's share this. Love.
Can you hear that piano playing in the background?
No.
Okay, good. I'm getting a full harmony here.
Because
the music.
Did you go to that craft center or whatever?
Yeah. Somebody was in that third floor lounge or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Warren at 5 could be early. Who knows?
I don't think it's too crazy. I don't think it's too crazy though.
The fallers, you'd say, is Mason Graham.
Mason Graham for sure.
You could say Shador, but is it a fall? If I'm the Giants, I'm not taking Shador. I'm just not.
Yeah,
because your jobs are on the line. You're trying to save your job.
Exactly. And you got Russell Wilson. And if you were a reloading team, you would not have signed Russell Wilson. You just wouldn't have.
And they've already Jameis too. They have 32 quarterbacks who can play football.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's an argument. There's an argument if Russell struggles, they put in Jameis above Shador.
They 100% would. So you
pick up that extra second.
So you're going to spend the third pick on your third string quarterback? No. Why would you do that?
Yeah. And then they also have 2 second round picks. If they wanted for sure get Jackson Dart, they could package those to come up and get Jackson Dart. Make sure he's their guy. And that would be able to you could play that over with the owners and front office. I guess they're all on the same team, but you could say that, hey, we liked Jackson Dart better, so we wanted Dart instead of Shador. Which some people think that.
You can argue Jackson Dart is better than Shador. Yeah,
it just depends how you feel about Shador. And then Todd Campbell at 16, I like that too. they address linebacker, but going 16 or taking it to 16 is just it makes more sense than pushing or reaching on a running back or something.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how you feel about Hampton. I like the Starks pick. I talked myself into that one. Golden at 23. Did the Packers finally get their first round receiver?
Rodgers be mad as fuck.
Rodgers is gonna come back up Jordan Love. No, I like this a lot. I like this. And it isn't too crazy, too. I think the craziest pick's probably not even crazy pick, but just Mason Graham falling.
Yeah, that'd be that'd be best case scenario.
And I think I've had one time, I just said, screw it, had the Jags trade down with the Niners. Niners came up and got Mason Graham. And in this case scenario, we just didn't do that. Like that could be something too. If you're worried about positional value, you could just have the Jags trade down from 5 to 11, take Tyler Warren at 11, and then have the Jags or the Niners take Mason Graham at 5. I think the worry is that the Jets could go Tyler Warren, the Giants.
I think they have way too many needs than getting a tight end personally.
Tyler Warren to the Saints. I like this a lot.
For sure, they just signed Jawan Johnson too. The Saints did.
Yeah. Okay.
First official PFE mock draft 1.0.
I think that worked really well. It could be, could splurge the 2-rounder. Maybe the next episode we use what we just did.
Frisky.
We take what we just did and do the second round. Maybe that's the next episode. We'll think about it. Appreciate watching. Welcome to LePod. Go root on your Lakers and LeBron in the final, hopefully in the finals, in the playoffs. Confirmed playoffs team.
We are. No more playing. No more playing.
You'd love to see that, Mike Malone. Double bird, buddy. Have fun in Cancun. Who's Lakers daddy now? Not you. You're employed. You're employed. Fuck you. All right, boys. That'll do it. LePod out.